get an extra pause there because I knew that one of these guys is going to try and start cussing. Hello and welcome, hello. This is Total Spotfest. Down below we have that's Jamie over there and the two very sharply dressed men. I am JJ. That is Austin Reddick. Look at us. Jamie did not get the memo. Jamie's been indisposed all day, but we do appreciate you guys for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving us some of your time. Boy, it's been a long week.
Very long week.
It has.
So, is this your first time here? Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We do this every Wednesday, approximately half hour after Dynamite finishes. If you want to see more, just hit the subscribe button down below. Give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Twitter or Blue Sky. Is Blue Sky still a thing? Does anybody know if that's still a thing?
I'm on occasion.
I hear less about it. It got hot for a minute, and now I don't see as many people. Maybe it's because everyone that was going already had their "I'm going to Blue Sky" tweet, and then they're just there and you don't hear about them or something. But
it's like the Zack Ryder push. Everyone remembers that. If you lived through it, it was maybe a month, maybe 45 days, because he made himself big on YouTube back in the day. And
didn't you win the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania and lose it the next night to the Miz?
The next night, 24 hours. Not even 24 hours, I think, if you just did the math, because it's at the beginning of the show. Yeah.
Zack Ryder should have got a bigger push. He was over as hell.
He was over as hell. And then he did get pushed from Kane off of the side of the ramp, and it was done.
The amount of times that someone has found a way to organically get themselves over and Vince McMahon was like, absolutely not, just astounds me.
Miro Day was one of the great. It came out of fucking nowhere. Miro Day.
The Cesaro section when people were literally bringing their Cesaro signs.
Paper Cesaro section signs. Yes.
The worst was Braun Strowman. Because there was 6 weeks where he was the hottest thing in pro wrestling, pushing over ambulances and just trucking people. And I think that
I'm not finished with you.
Somehow he got Get These Hands over a year after Get These Hands became a thing people were saying.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, Yeet's really not a thing. And then here comes Jey Uso 3 years later.
I feel like that only works because Jey Uso is cool as hell.
Yeah, I mean,
he could come out there and do the Urkel, did I do that? And it would get over because Jey Uso is just cool, man. If you're cool, you can make it work.
He is fucking.
I hear that. But you have a little bit. It's like Braun Strowman. He had the big push for 6 weeks. He was out. But then there was the whole remember the mixed match challenge thing, and then we found the genie in the bottle that was Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman together. So good.
I like the mixed match challenge. I wish they'd bring that back. That was fun.
We saw that live at one of the shows we went to at T-Mobile Center.
Try to erase those memories from my brain, but yes, it did happen.
Well, but regardless, thank you guys for joining us. If you are here, please feel free to join into chat. But we will get right into it. First and foremost, Austin, we know you had a little wrestling to do this past Saturday in Wichita. How was Heartland Championship Wrestling?
It was solid, man. Me and T2G are still the HCW tag champs. Had a fun match with Only Friends. Solid show, decent turnout for January. Sometimes early in the year it gets a little rough, but solid turnout, solid show up until the fire alarm went off in the second half, which that's not what you want, but there's nothing you can do about it, but just wait for it to turn off, get everyone back in and keep going. So,
I mean, if that's not local independent wrestling, I don't know what is.
Yeah. I think the best part though was just how a fire alarm goes off and 75% of people make no immediate move towards an exit. It's just kind of looking around is someone going to turn this shit off?
Is this a gimmick? Is this a work?
And I think it's from growing up. There's too many fire drills when you're in school. And so it's like a boy who cried wolf thing. Eventually, like you don't even associate that sound with actual danger. It's just annoyance.
Oh, we had that.
So somebody tried to new jack you with a fire alarm?
Like the Scott Steiner entrance music from his WWE run.
Jamie, we had that one time before COVID, when we were all in office, right? The company we worked for downtown, like somebody I'll try to burn down the place with a microwave. They did on like one of the floors, and literally half of us were just like, "Yeah, I got emails." What?
It's like it's just a drill. They're like, it's not a drill this time.
It wasn't a drill. It was a little bit of Dynamite this week.
Dynamite was amazing, but I want to pivot and talk about Collision, gentlemen.
Ooh!
Did you watch any of Collision?
I watched a couple parts of it. One of it that mattered more than the rest. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I caught bits of Collision. It's unfortunate that Collision, more often than not, is a phenomenal 2 hours of pro wrestling, but they just never make it seem like a big deal.
Hot take. It might have been better than Dynamite was last week.
I mean, I think
it was really good top to bottom. It was really good top to bottom.
I think in general, Collision actually is probably a better show. I mean, more often than not, they have more wrestling on there, right? Okay. I say more often than not always, but quite often they will have more wrestling on there. They have some
Dynamite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they do like the weird, crazy matches. Like this week coming up, there's a street fight.
Mid-South street fight.
Collision seems like it's just supposed to be more fun.
Yeah.
Like Dynamite's a little bit more serious, and Collision is just like, hey, let's just throw this random match out here just because it'll be a good time.
I mean, you get more Harley Cameron on Saturdays, so that alone should make you watch more Collision.
We did get double Harley Cameron on Dynamite last week, though.
I mean, the Harley Cameron push is real, y'all. And we are all here for it.
It's not going to be a Zack Ryder push.
It better not be.
Well, we don't know.
So the big thing, gentlemen, as we all know, it's already been all over the interweb, so everybody is well aware, and is also addressed on Dynamite. Toni Storm, and a big swerve, is not Toni Storm. She is playing the role of a lifetime herself. And yes, in fact, it was a ruse for all of us. She is still, in fact, Timeless Toni Storm. And at Grand Slam, she is going to rip Mariah May's tits off. Somebody on here called it. Who was that?
So we had varying degrees of Toni Storm predictions going on here, and Jamie hit the jackpot. I'll give you here. Where's your sticker at? I'm gonna give you your sticker.
It's like it happens all the time, guys. Like you guys should be like, it happens all the time. I'm always right. I can't be right in my own house, but I can be right about wrestling.
Weren't you the one saying Shane McMahon was coming to join the Death Riders?
Hey, 70% of the time, I'm right every time.
What? Okay, let's go back to Toni, okay? Because we all knew there was some variation. We all figured there'd be something going on. If anybody follows the show, you know that all three of us had different varying levels of predictions or pontifications and hopes and dreams about what we were going to get with Toni Storm. What do you guys' thoughts on the way that they did it? I know Jamie's very happy because he predicted it this way here. But Austin, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on Timeless Toni Storm being Timeless Toni Storm, and this was the role of a lifetime, a big ruse the whole way, and the reveal happening 2 weeks before we even get to Grand Slam?
Yeah. My initial response was, why? Like, as I said last week, she doesn't need to go back to Timeless Toni Storm, because if she wins the title at Grand Slam, we are right back to where we were a year ago. Timeless Toni Storm was fun. It's going to be fondly remembered in the annals of pro wrestling history. What more is there that you need to see from Timeless Toni Storm? I thought coming back with the Tony time and the thinking she was a rookie and stuff, that was a good character, and it could lead into something new for Toni Storm. Toni Storm's going to kill whatever you give her because she's that talented of a performer. So yeah, this just doesn't make sense to me. Even like from a storyline perspective, you were the champ for like an entire year. You lost to Mariah, who has defended the belt a few times. Why did you need to do this ruse? Like, what was the point to then reveal it 2 weeks before? She could have earned the title match, won the gauntlet as Timeless Toni Storm. Like, this seems like cashing in on a big reveal just because it'll get a pop and not for actual storyline reasons.
I politely disagree, sir. And let me tell you why. Mark Stradamus guarantee Mariah May's winning at Grand Slam.
Oh, okay.
Mark Stradamus guarantee. So if you got on betting sites, Mariah May for the win, because Mariah May hit on it tonight at Dynamite. There's my damn cat. She left because she lost from AEW. She left Japan because she lost. She left CMLL because she lost. She's going to lose here again, and she's going to lose her mind again. She's going to lose it. That's what made her become timeless. But we're going to see her slip into something new, and she's going to have a brand new character. And I'm not saying it's going to be Sting, but it's going to be Sting-esque. Like, she's going to go nuts, and we're going to get like a Sting Toni Storm variant. And that's what's going to happen here. I think storyline, it makes a lot of sense, because if you're going to have rookie Tony, then rookie Tony is definitely winning. This is hands down rookie. Now you have Timeless, and this just makes more sense for her to lose. I'm going, she's losing. And that's storyline, baby.
I like that idea. I fear, though, that Austin's closer to the truth. And they're going to just, hey, this worked for the past year. Do it again. I just feel like that just every bone in my body's just, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope to God I'm wrong. I mean, I like the idea of doing it different. And that's what my whole thing was the whole time, right? We're going to have like some variation of, this, of Toni Storm, some different, something new, maybe a Joker Sting persona. We're going to go down that path.
That's the worst.
I know Jamie hates Joker Sting. But you know what I'm getting at, some variation. I don't know. I don't mind the way that they did this. I mind when they did this is the part that gets me. Like when they did it, it's actually because it was this past Saturday, so it's technically 3 weeks before your pay-per-view. I mean, the week before, maybe. Okay, I could see that. You do it the week before, right? And then you're like, go homes? Okay, cool, right? But 3 weeks out? That's shooting the load a little quick there. Quick Draw McGee.
Yeah, and I had made a comment a few weeks back that would make sense was for Mariah intentionally beating her back into Timeless because she beat Timeless and she knows she can beat her. And they kind of went like halfway there by Mariah just beating her up and then her switching. But I wish they would have told that story about it being more intentional. Then it kind of would have worked, but still. I would go against Mark Stradamus on this, say it seems the most obvious is that Tony just wins in Australia and you're back to Timeless Toni Storm, which there are worse places you could be. She's still going to be entertaining no matter what. But rocking with the rookie Toni Storm would have been much better long-term. Although I would love nothing else than to see Mariah May retain, because I think Mariah May has not peaked as champion yet.
I agree. Now, timeline. I disagree there too, because if it is going to be Toni winning, you do that on the go home. You have her get revealed on the go home as Timeless. Oh shit! Everybody freaks out. Now you have time to build up Timeless Toni Storm versus Mariah May. And so you have a 3-week thing, even though everybody and their mothers are going to watch the damn thing. But it just gives you a little more time to build it. And I think it makes a lot of sense. Mariah May is going to win this thing. Calling it now. I'm not trying to get you all on it and then putting her on the sheet because I've done that to you guys before. I'm legit going after it. Mariah May is going to be my winner. I'm going to pick it. Done. Actually, we're not even doing Grand Slam because it's a normal TV show.
Yeah, it's a normal TV show.
I would love for them to go in a different direction, surprise us here. What this seems like to me more than anything else is what can we do to start getting more eyes back on the product? And I'm not one of these people that like ratings are going down, AEW's in trouble, nothing like that. But you're sitting there like you have seen some viewership decline a little bit. What can you do? Go back to something you had that was really hot that everybody enjoyed, instead of pushing that forward. That's why I think they did it early. That's why I think Toni's winning at Grand Slam. This is safe. It's going to be over because Toni's great. That's what it seems like to me.
I mean, that makes sense. For what it's worth, too, just from reports that I've read and stuff like this, SRS has reported on this as well, that, yes, ratings are down, but the max numbers are really good.
Yeah.
For AEW.
Like, they're not in trouble by any means.
Like, it's really good. Not as big as Netflix, but to the point where all the backstage executives are incredibly happy with AEW. Incredibly so, which is good.
I hope they keep getting even better max numbers and more viewers, and it causes them to add a third show. But I'm going to put a pin in that until after we're done with Dynamite.
Or maybe put the pay-per-views on Max, just saying.
Hey, they're going on Amazon Prime now. Another place you can watch them that's not Bleacher Report.
I saw that.
Well, Bleacher Report's gone, thank the Lord. So there's that.
That was the worst.
Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad.
It was so bad, dude.
It was so bad.
I hated it so much. I hated every fiber of my being. But gentlemen, let's go ahead and let's talk. Let's go ahead and talk Dynamite. I think this is a good segue into Mariah May's promo. I feel like this just makes a lot of sense. I agree with what you said, Austin. She is not peaked, and I feel if she wins in Australia, we could get the peak of what she could be, when she wins in Australia. And she's cunning on the mic. They're in Huntsville. But this, looking around, they should just change the first letter to a C. Like, come on now. Brava. No, there's not a whole lot I can say negatively about her in this promo. I thought it was very well done. Again, build story. Gives you 3 weeks to build up Timeless versus Mariah.
Honestly, the whole show tonight, it was just a bunch of builds, which is not bad. You need to have it, but there's a lot of build, right? There was a lot of kind of build for Grand Slam and build for Beyond.
Yeah. They did a good amount of storytelling tonight, which is always good. I thoroughly enjoyed Mariah's promo. Like I said, she's not close to peaking. And I think if she retains, she should hold that belt until Grand Slam. Not Grand Slam, All In.
Okay.
But give her some bigger feuds. I know she was tweeting that she won't give Jamie Hayter a shot till she dyes her hair back. That was pretty funny.
That popped the shit out of me as soon as I saw that. She's like, I used to love her. And then she looks all weird with this orange hair and like
Mariah May is so good. I thought we were bordering tonight on getting her to go full Kevin Owens when Kevin Owens was the only person who acknowledged that Elias and Ezekiel were the same person. Like when she kept saying none of this is real, like I thought she was going to start like what are you idiots looking at? That's been Toni Storm the whole time. That would have been a fun wrinkle. But her promo was great. She's doing great work. I would love to see her hold on to that belt for a while longer.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Or two.
Do we talk about the match of the night right away?
Depends on what you consider the match of the night, but proceed.
Mercedes Mone versus Yuka Sakazaki. No, that's not the match of the night. But
I thought that's where you might have been going. I
hell of a match,
that's what you would say.
So I do want to start. I do want to start with the main because was I the only one who thought, "Ooh, the women are maining. That means somebody's coming out."
That's what I felt. I felt something was going to happen. Not a title change, unfortunately. But I figured they were going to advance a story in some fashion.
I didn't feel that at all. I figured they were maining because it was a title match and because that fits Mercedes' character. Like, if you're going to have her defending the title on TV, you should put that character in the main event just because it helps the character you're trying to portray.
I mean, are all things that Austin has said multiple times over, Jamie, that, make the titles mean more, right? Make your big stars mean more. Boom, here you go.
Let's put a pin in that comment because there was a very, very interesting promo from somebody about a title that I'd love to get Austin's feedback on. But JJ, what did you think of this match, man?
I thought it was fine. I think Mercedes has been doing really good in the past 3 or 4 months, right? Matches here and in Japan, especially in Japan. Oh my God, the matches she's had in Japan were but I think she's been doing really good. Yuka is a longtime favorite of ours, right? We love Yuka Sakazaki. I don't think it was either one of their best matches, but I feel like it felt like a main. I feel like it was fine. It was fine. Now, I seems kind of, even keel on it because in a way it really didn't advance anything like I was getting at, right?
Yeah.
Other than Mercedes, you just backed up her claim as the female belt collector, and that's about it, which is fine. But yeah,
I have easily one thing to say, and I think hopefully both of you will agree. Joshi's just do it better.
Yeah,
I think that's all there is to it.
They have been for like 4 decades.
I know.
It's not they have
like they just do it better, and we love Yuka Sakazaki. She is my favorite 11-year-old wrestler. I mean, she looks like she looks like a little girl, dude. Like, she's the most adorable little thing. She's supposed to squish her cheeks. She's supposed to squish her cheeks. They're so cute. And
she's a magical girl.
Her thrust kick is one of the best thrust kicks in the women's division, period. It looks so good. And then you have Mercedes, who's arguably the best women's actual wrestler that's out there. I will stand on that for just a hot second because I am starting to believe in that. She might not be the best promo, but her in-ring work is getting better, and her finisher, she finally figured out how to integrate it a lot better. Like, I'm very happy with that. Her bank statement, her statement maker, whatever. Like, this match,
it just took 9 months. But we got there.
I thoroughly enjoyed this because it showcased Yuka. Yuka looked great this match.
Yuka did look good. I thought the two of them just didn't have great chemistry together, and that took away a little bit. It was still a good match. Like, nothing wrong with it. It wasn't like watching Mercedes and Britt where you could tell there was like animosity and like they just did not want to work with each other. This just seemed like sometimes you get people that you just don't have great chemistry with. So it seemed like they were a little off waiting for spots here and there. They did a lot of really cool stuff. Like, it was a main event match. It was worthy of his spot. From a technical in-ring standpoint, what this match suffered from is a lot of your AEW audience is not familiar with Yuka. Yeah. And you knew she wasn't winning the title here. So
yeah.
I was that's what kind of took away from it, because the crowd would get really hot for Yuka at spots where she was starting to fire and hit some cool shit, and then they would just die. Like they weren't really getting in any of the near falls or anything like that because they didn't take the challenger seriously, which that's a booking problem, not a performing problem. But I mean, the match, the in-ring product of the match was still worthy of main event, super entertaining.
And therein lies what I was going to say. Therein lies the downfall of the smaller arena, right? We all have agreed that we like what they're going with it. We feel it's a better presentation for TV, right? You know, it makes it more intimate. It's good. It's got that indie vibe to it. We like it. The downside, and we've all been at, some of us have wrestled at shows where there's that match that nobody cares about, and you could hear a pin drop in that place, right? So going into these venues that are smaller like this, it's compounded because you have this, just like you talk about, where there was some dead parts, right? And it's nothing against either of the women or it just, you know, sometimes you book and maybe it's just meant to be a match, right? But if it's your main and, you know, I don't know, there's not a fix for that. I just want to just say that is something to consider as well when you look at these smaller venues.
Yeah,
and fair.
I think the crowd would have been more into it if you waited till like next week when you're in Houston or like a bigger city. Huntsville, Alabama is kind of a weird place to book Mercedes Moné versus Yuka in the main event.
I mean, you can get away with Toni Storm versus anybody, and that the crowd would be hot because you have that. And then, you know, I just think, you know, Mercedes is a heel, so you need a face that's recognizable that people can get behind in a smaller.
Is Mercedes a heel?
Do what?
Is Mercedes a heel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she's kind of got an attitude, like character-wise. Like, she doesn't seem like particularly nice, but she never wrestles like a heel.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right there. And I know that drives you nuts.
She's never done that, though. In WWE, she never wrestled like a heel either.
That's the problem with Mercedes right now, though.
Yeah. If she could just do some heel tactics.
If you're just going to be the best wrestler, which they could put her in that role, don't like kind of cut heel promos, but then just beat everybody. It just doesn't connect as much.
How about this? Think about what they did for Adam Cole when he was in NXT, right? He was the best wrestler that was out there in a time when you had Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano, Andrade, right? You had some really good wrestlers, right? And if need be, he would go toe to toe, and he did win some clean stuff. But most of his wins when he was in his championship runs, there's some dirty shit that went along with it, right?
Heel's got to have it. That's pro wrestling.
That made him a heel, and people still believed him as the best wrestler out there because between the bell and the heel shit, he still was phenomenal, right?
Yeah,
but you gotta have the heel shit.
And she doesn't need someone running in and helping her like win at the final part of the match every time. But let's see you cut some corners during the match and also out wrestle. Like, give us some heel shit.
Yes. Hashtag heel shit always and forever. But, gentlemen, I would be remiss if I did not mention how Yuka Sakazaki got into this match. She was able to beat the Virtuosa because of one Harley Cameron.
There it is.
Yes. And then Harley Cameron is going to get her first TV win Saturday. I'm calling it now as well. She's going up against one of the Vendetta, trying to get that cheddar. Sorry, DMX for you. But actually, no, that's a 50 Cent reference. My bad. Damn, I'm just tired. But anyway,
You've had a long day.
Get it. She is going to wrestle Mercedes in Australia, and Harley Cameron's gonna win, dude.
Harley Cameron's not gonna win.
Harley Cameron's not winning.
If Mariah May wins, you bet your bottom dollar that Harley Cameron's gonna find a way to win, and that crowd's gonna go ape shit.
The other reason Toni Storm's winning, and Harley Cameron's gonna be the hometown girl that loses. As much, I would love to see Harley Cameron win.
We all would, but let's be real.
I'm standing for Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron for president, damn it. Like, yes. Like, love me some Harley Cameron.
Oh, God bless you, Jamie. Right. Let's move on.
Let's move on. I guess.
Not gonna happen.
So gonna happen. I'm gonna make fetch happen, guys. All right, so why don't we just go ahead and circle back to the very, very first match of the night. And that is one Will Ospreay and Brian Cage. And gentlemen, we have talked, I don't know how many times about how great Brian Cage is, but I cannot not anymore. Like every time we're on here, we have to talk about how great he is, because Brian Cage does some stuff that big boys don't do.
Exactly.
And this match was great. Even the ending when everybody came out, I thought that was very well done. Yes, please. And of course we got Omega's actual, good music again 2 weeks in a row. But yes, the Omega powers are not looking so hot right now.
You mean the Dream Team? They made sure to say it at least 35 times tonight.
Omega powers.
It should be Omega powers. That's much better than Dream Team.
I'm not saying it isn't, but I'm saying what is the Dream Team. Sorry,
Omega powers.
Brian Cage is worth. This is a great way to open the show, right? You want to open a show? This is classic textbook AEW. But when your best wrestler's out there against somebody who can job but do it fantastically, right? And it was worth it. You had the run-in afterwards. It was all good. You had Don Callis on commentary. I mean, it's almost like a broken record talking about this matchup because, yeah. Yeah, Will Ospreay.
I think
Brian Cage, go. Good time.
I think broken record is the perfect way to describe this, because that was my only issue. We saw this last week.
We did. It was 50-50 booking.
And well, I mean, it was Omega and Cage last week, but then the same run-ins, some beat downs and stuff. Last week, at least we got backflips off the arena. That was cool. But that was my only problem with this is Omega and Ospreay are different wrestlers, but they're not different enough that I need to see both of them beat Brian Cage to open Dynamite in consecutive weeks.
Of course you do, man. Of course you do.
I mean, they're being very formulaic in a lot of stuff in this build up to Grand Slam.
Yeah, like, could we have gotten a Takeshita match with some Callis family run in and Ospreay and Omega running out afterwards? Like, you can't do Ospreay versus Takeshita or Fletcher right now. I mean, you could, but you're building up to the tag. It was just, Brian Cage's job's to open Dynamite again. Yeah. And then Brian Cage is looking way better these days. I'm enjoying Brian Cage, but just
100%
change it up a little bit.
It's okay, Jamie. We got 2 weeks left. We got Lance Archer versus each of them over the next 2 weeks, so there's that.
Probably they might go that route, or we find out the sixth member. The sixth member. Who is the sixth member of the Don Callis family?
Kenny Omega.
See, I was thinking more, and this is every time that they've come out and run in, I keep wondering, because to me, I don't think there's any other answer to this question, but I keep wondering, is this when we get the Young Bucks to show back up? A Young Bucks face turn?
To help out. I can see that.
I can't take credit for this as original idea because I saw it somewhere on social media the last few days. But I think a real interesting answer to the question of who's going to be the new member of the Don Callis family is the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh.
I think he fits great with Callis. He can little brother Takeshita, and you eventually get Takeshita turning face because everyone wants Takeshita to be a face. The Elite abandoned him pretty much. Like, And that's the perfect foil for Ospreay and Omega, is add Okada to your lineup.
I don't think it's anything that spectacular.
Probably not, but that would be rad.
Is there going to be a sixth member of the Callis family? Are we?
Yeah, he said there's a sixth. Don has gone on and said, who said there's only 5? And then he talked about it on promo. But there's going to be 1 or 2 people. Trent Beretta's healthy and he's back.
Oh,
that's easiest, right?
Yeah, that's easy peasy.
Or, because I'm going for the less spectacular thing, Kyle Fletcher's former tag team partner who just kind of disappeared again into obscurity.
I don't think either one of those is particularly exciting.
That's exactly why it's perfect. Because
I don't think it needs to be exciting. I think it needs to be another body.
I think if you're going to say in a promo that you've got another guy coming, you got to kind of over-deliver on that. I think if they didn't cut that promo and just one of them showed up to rejoin the Callis family, like, that's fine. That makes sense. But I think if you're going to tee it up, you got to knock it out of the park.
What about Jack Perry?
That'd be a good one. He's been MIA since dropping the title.
I do like that. I do like that a lot.
Going back to Okada really quick. Did y'all see Okada's backstage segment on Collision? Yeah, hounds hell barking and him just laughing off in the corner. Sorry, you laugh like a bitch.
I think Okada doesn't need anybody. He doesn't need nothing. He's carved this beautiful world where he lives in. He's taken ownership of the word bitch in the best way possible. Yeah. Don't put Okada. But I like Jack Perry as in the family, at least for a short period of time.
I think it gives Okada direction to be in the Don Callis family, because he's just kind of floating his own world. You never know when you're going to get him showing up on Dynamite or Collision. I think it fits his character, where Don Callis can do all like the real promo work and he just calls people a bitch. What's not to like?
I would think that, but he's literally just entering into a program with the House of Hell.
Maybe it'll just be one match. We don't know it's a full program.
Do we know it's going to be a full program? Because they're trying to put over the House of Hell pretty hard right
now. Yeah.
I would hope so, but we might just get a Buddy Matthews and Okada match on a Dynamite or Collision, and then they're on to different things.
What if it's Miro, guys? What if they finally get Miro back?
That would be great.
Yes, please.
Talk about somebody who hasn't been on TV in years. Just shows up randomly.
I like the idea of Don Callis' family being international. Like, you got guys from everywhere. That's a good little touch.
Yeah.
Miro would be great.
Gabe Kidd.
now you're on Fantasy Booking Island, Jamie.
Of course I am. This is where I live. Anyway, gentlemen, was this the match of the night for you?
For me, no.
For me, no as well.
I thought this was, like, in ring wise, the match of the night for me, but I don't think it like clear exceeded the rest of the show.
Jamie, what was your match of the night? Let's go there next.
Okay. Era Fox Ricochet. Let's talk about that match.
That was my match of the night too.
Whenever I get to witness something that I'm referring to as the People's Moonsault, it does get some brownie points pretty hard. And the new character of Ricochet, I'm loving more and more every time I see it. And I want him to beat Swerve. I want it to happen. I think it will. Not clean, though. I think he's got
I don't care if it does happen or not. I don't care which way they go with the result of the match. I just want that match to end Dynamite next week. And if it doesn't, there is a terrible injustice going on in this world.
Don't open with it.
I
don't know.
I'd go for an open, but I'd want to see him end the night with that.
I could see that being the main next week. I don't think they have anything else like huge announced already.
Right. And here's my thing. you're in Huntsville, Alabama, and the heat that Ricochet was getting from that crowd throughout the whole match in Huntsville, Alabama, just solidified that character that he's made. And yes, him and AR Fox wrestled a good match. We've talked about AR Fox in the past, terribly undervalued wrestler in general for most of his career, right? I think, Austin, you've talked about that, But besides that, I think just the fact of how much heat there was on Ricochet in the right manner, right? And it's not Don Callis heat. Don't get me wrong. It's not like that atomic heat, right? It's the right amount of heat to prove that this is actually working. What we thought was not possible is possible. Plus, AR Fox did look like Lionel Richie coming out to the ring. Just going to say that.
Hello. Is it me you're looking for?
He came out in that red coat, and I'm like, Lionel?
Yeah, he's dancing off the ceiling right now.
So this match was very good, but much like the opener, I just saw this last week.
You saw AR versus Swerve last week. Yes,
Ricochet and Swerve are different enough wrestlers. But AR Fox isn't going to win. We're going to see some cool moves. He's going to lose, and we're going to have Ricochet and Swerve interacting after, or was this Groundhog Day?
Yes. Yes, it is.
But you had the scissors hidden inside the lower turnbuckle. Hello, let's go.
Yeah, I did like that.
Yeah, that was a cool little spot, but that's post match. So when that's why I had Ospreay and Cage as my match of the night, because these were both 50-50, but one had Will Ospreay in it, who I enjoy.
I seriously thought you were gonna go a different route with your match of the night. But
I was gonna go with Jay White.
No. Do we want to just jump right into that? Because I got problems with that.
Well, hold on. Before we do, let's talk about the promo that happened when Renee was trying to get a word with Swerve.
Oh my God! Yes.
Hangman was looking for Swerve. Gentlemen, do you think that we are getting the return of the face hanger because of what happened with him and CD?
Yeah, I said it last week. I think this is the beginning of a face turn for Hanger.
I'm a double down on crazy. No, I don't think so. No.
I think it is, because this is a very natural way to do it. I think you could have gone much longer with crazier heel Hangman, but that promo segment with Christopher Daniels last week was just such a perfect tee up. And the Hanger character is one that should hear something like that and immediately realize maybe I've gone a little too far. So I think it just works. I also think having Hanger in a face role right now, I think is probably better for your show as a whole than have him as a heel. You got a lot of heels.
You got to have some faces in here. You do.
Too many right now. And that's coming from me.
And I think a face Hanger taking on the Death Riders, if you move into that, makes the Death Riders story much more interesting.
I think it does. I think it's a hell of a lot more interesting than Cope. No offense to Cope. I like the Edge project the first time around in AEW when he first came in. I was down for it. I'm just not anymore. I don't know.
Well, his injury kind of bugged it, but yeah.
His injury bugged it, and he just doesn't look the same. He looks, I don't know. It's all superficial.
I love what I want to see him do in AEW.
What?
I don't know what I want to see Cope do in AEW.
Exactly
I'm a lifelong Edge fan, but there's nothing for him in AEW that excites me anymore. He had a fun little victory lap run earlier on, then he got hurt, but now we saw his comeback and all that. There's nothing I'm dying to see from him.
It doesn't make any sense. Now, what I did want to see more of, Jamie, I love the style of that promo. backstage with Renee, and then here comes Hangman, and then we're following them as they go around. There's people on the sides there, and here comes MJF. It felt like not the Attitude Era, but it kind of felt like Ruthless Aggression, how they had those like long backstage promos where people like standing around and everything.
Yeah,
I like that. Give me more of that.
The hard shoulder hit. Both of them stare at each other. Hager give him the little brother look again, like his. I love how he also you said he little brother. I mean, he totally did. You're 100% right. He did it kind of again here, and then it just sent MJF on a tirade, a little bitch tirade about how this guy just walks around, thinks he runs this damn place, blah 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 blah. And then Renee's trying to get a word in about everything going on with Double J, Jeff Jarrett, and it was very well done, and that was the right amount of MJF talking, by the way, too.
Right. I think that's a good mechanic to use. It's worked in there. It's worked in TNA. It's worked every time I've ever seen them do that style of backstage stuff, right? Because you got all these people that are there. They're doing something backstage. So I like having the extra bodies.
Yeah, just show me more of what's going on backstage. Like,
old school.
In your storyline, like make it like kind of a crazy place where like all these weirdos you see come out and fight each other in front of the crowd and the camera, like they're all just coworkers backstage as well. Like show me more of what's going on back there.
If you want a crazy place,
behind the curtain.
If you want a crazy place, Jamie, I highly recommend you go with Daddy Magic to the merch table.
I love that.
That was my moment of the night by far.
That was so chaotic and nuts and everything right in this world. You know,
it was like perfect. Everything was perfect.
That was pro wrestling AF. Like
it really was.
That's that kind of thing you only really get in pro wrestling that I think wrestling's missing these days a lot of. Like the semi kind of carny stuff that like is just pure entertainment, but they're also just trying to hockey some shit at the same time. I love that.
I had shades of Don West from TNA, shoptna.com, I had shades of the old, hotlines for WWE merch at like pay-per-views and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It was
old Doc Hendricks shilling all the t-shirts.
Yeah. Oh my. Wow. Since we're talking about old school, we might as well talk about the old schoolest wrestler in AEW that's currently on the active roster, and that was JEFFJARRET. Jeff Jarrett. That's right. Going up against Claudio Castagnoli, and if he wins this match, he gets a title shot against Jon Moxley. I enjoyed this match. I enjoyed the storytelling of this match. I enjoy the fact that I got to see Claudio and Jeff Jarrett go at it. It made my heart happy. I didn't like how it ended, though, but I think for the betterment of the entire thing, I think it makes sense. So
it's the right way to end this match. Flat out.
So for me, this would have been my match of the night until it tripped at the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
Claudio should not need two dudes interfering to beat Jeff Jarrett. As much as I love Jeff Jarrett, and if you were going to have Jeff Jarrett get screwed by somebody, it should have been MJF. Like, I don't think this finish did anything for anybody. But I love the match up until then.
Yeah.
I'll
give you that, but
like that's like, I don't think it really furthered anybody. Death Riders get involved. Jeff Jarrett just kind of loses. If MJF would have come out and cost him the match, like now you're furthering their story a bit. But yeah, like either Claudio should have just beat him or Jeff Jarrett catches him with a roll up or something like that. And then he loses to Mox by the same means he lost to Claudio Knight in a week or so.
You're not wrong, sir. That was a piece that bit me about this. Because like the swing looked great, the sharpshooter reversal into a sharpshooter, the way the Montreal screw job should have went down. And all of that was absolutely great.
Yeah.
Just absolutely great.
Also, if this match had anything, it got me kind of annoyed at Cope and FTR.
Well,
why are you going to run out later? You can't come help out Jeff Jarrett here? He's a legend.
I was thinking the exact same thing. The exact same thing. Like, it just drove me nuts. Like, oh, you'll come out for Jay White, but you won't come out for Jeff Jarrett, the legend, when you literally just cut a promo. Well, afterwards, you cut a promo about the fact that they beat up one of your favorite legends of all time. Is Jeff Jarrett not one of your favorite legends of all time? The disrespect
should be
on that man's name.
And therein, that's probably the biggest reason why I don't really get the whole Cope, this current Cope return, is to me, and pardon me for using such stout language here, gentlemen, but for me, he's bringing down FTR for no good goddamn reason. Just because they're fucking neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even a shoot right there.
Yeah, like FTR should be in the tag division. FTR and Hurt Syndicate would be, or Hurt Business would, like, I'd be into that for the tag titles.
Right.
That sounds great. But now they're just running around with Cope fighting the Death Riders, who literally cut a promo tonight reinforcing that they're gonna make all the young talent go through what they went through. You're not wrestling young talent. You're wrestling three of the oldest dudes on the roster that aren't Jeff Jarrett. And I love FTR, but like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
exactly.
And that goes right into our last match tonight. Let's just go there. You had Wheeler Yuta, Shaggy, going up against the man with 39 and a half abs, Jay White, the sole member of the Gun Club currently, or the Bang Bang Gang currently. There was a nice little vignette of the Guns, the Gun Club. So it sounds like they're going to be on their way back here shortly. So he's going to get some reinforcements. This match was really enjoyable. I love Wheeler Yuta right now with what they're doing. I thought this was a very technically savvy match. Overall, very happy with everything with this match. But again, FTR coming out to make the save for them, but not Jeff Jarrett, is a bit BS.
I mean, I like all I love what they're doing with Yuta and the subtlety. So here's the thing, and I know Austin, you talked about this, and you're probably teeing up to talk about it again. But yes, the whole fact of this whole thing with Death Riders and the belt and all this stuff. But I like what they're doing with them in general. I still think it needs the belt to be involved with it. And yes, Moxie cut a promo talking about the belt, which is really good promo. Okay, but my biggest thing is, like, if you notice all the subtleties around Yuta, I have pontificated my praise towards young Mr. Yuta about him being the one who comes out and does all this. But he has all these Danielson clues in there, right? With the Busaiku knee, he did the I have till 5 thing on the break, Yeah. So all these things, because we know that eventually we're going to have a Danielson come back for like a month or something, sometime this fall or whatever it is, right?
Revolution.
Probably. Sure, whatever it is, and it's going to be a whole thing. But I love those little subtleties with it there. But at the end of the day, just why with the Cope stuff? Why?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Like, I don't think that's doing much for anybody. And Yuta and Jay White was a fun match, and I even get the Death Riders not interfering to help Yuta, because it's kind of just like sink or swim, kid. Like, go beat Jay White on your own.
It's the young boy mentality.
I kind of get that. I didn't care for Jay White holding Yuta up, staring at Mox like he was going to give another Blade Runner, when, like, bro, by now there are multiple other people in that faction. Someone's going to come out and hit you from behind. Like, that's just going to happen. It kind of made Jay White look like a dipshit.
Dude, also, but you're a wrestler. You understand there is no, like, logic.
Oh, Austin likes to bring his logic with him. I don't know why. We've had this talk multiple times, Austin.
No. So that works in certain spots. That doesn't work when that exact same thing has happened 18 fiscal weeks of TV in a row.
And a half hour earlier.
By now, you should be smarter than that, which kind of leads to my other thing. Instead of just Death Riders run in, Edge and FTR come out, Death Riders run away, and like we've seen that several times. Cope and FTR, I'm going to let you in on some inside knowledge. I don't even have to work for the company to know. The Death Riders come out of the same tunnel every time. Why don't you hang out back there and beat them up before they come to the ring and beat up Jay White? Like, just give us some kind of variety in that, please.
Yeah, act as a fan that's standing right there and jump them. Dude, that's like...
What if they were all wearing Sting masks and they pull off the Sting mask and then beat them up? Like,
it'd be great.
So many fun things you could do that you could be doing the same story, just make it more entertaining.
Yeah, I would love that. Now,
it'd be one big Mandela effect.
Yes, we do have a couple promos to end with. I do want to end with these. So we had the learning tree and talking about how Will Hobbs was beat by Big Bill, but Big Bill didn't finish the job. He said permanently, and it didn't do it, so he's got to get better at it. And then they're talking about, what were they talking about to get the Mandela effect piece? But whatever. The Bad Apple Mandela effect. That shit.
The Outrunners.
The Outrunners. Yes,
yeah, the Outrunners have been around for decades, but he's never seen them on anything besides AEW TV. And here comes Mandela effect.
So good. It's so good.
I love the fact that Brian Keith is that just random, blurting out. He's the good member in Chris Jericho's eye of the learning tree. Yeah. Which is actually a masterful work to put Big Bill even more over. I fucking love it.
That face turn is going to be so good when he finally turns on
So
Jericho.
good. So good.
So good. When he wins the Ring of Honor World Championship promo.
Yeah. Roll Toad.
Roll Toad. Roll Toad. And then let's end with this, because Renee was talking with the Death Riders and, of course, her husband, and talking about where the World Championship is. Where the World Championship is. And I'm going to take that pin out because we did talk about that earlier. And we have gone on the record, especially Austin, that you need to have the belt out there. You need to show people what you're fighting for. And then arguably a masterful promo about why it's not out there that I completely disagree with, but I love the fact that he defended it just so matter-of-factly. Gentlemen, what do you think?
Awesome. I'll let you go on this one.
I thought the promo was good, but I will revert to an earlier comment. You're going to make the young kids at AEW go through what you're going through, but you are feuding with Cope and FTR. Like, what? Like, align it all. Let's just get some synergy here. And let's like have an actual direction to this, because it just seems all over the place.
I think therein lies the biggest kind of disassociation with the Death Riders story. When you hear like this promo, like, I am the championship, it comes from in the heart. And they're doing what they're doing because he wants to make 1,000 John Moxley standing in line behind him to fight for this, right? That's such good verbiage. I mean, so good, right? But to your point, they're feuding with Cope and FTR. They're putting the belt on every line to whoever, right? Anytime actions don't match words, right? So again, I think that them having the belt is the biggest deterrent in it. Like, he could be so crazy, he could be like, your title doesn't matter, I'm the champion, while someone else is actually in the championship picture, right? I don't know. I don't mind the story when I hear them talk about it, but then seeing it like in fruition is where I just feel like, yeah, you're not square peg round hole, you know?
Yeah, and if you're gonna like do all the stuff you've already done and cut these same promos from Mox, give me the baby face calling him out and saying, you're not doing any of this. You're hiding the title and you're having your boys interfere every time to keep it. You might say you're trying to save AEW. You just want to be champion. Like, give me the baby face, pointing the finger in Jon Moxley's face and calling out what we are all seeing.
Well, Orange Cassidy, Jamie, was the closest they got to that.
They did. And then where is he right now?
Oh, he swallowed too much bleach or something.
Like, he was the closest they had.
Like, I think that would turn this around if everyone Mox is feuding with is calling him out for this shit and he's getting increasingly more violent because he doesn't want to accept the truth. That's fun storytelling.
I agree. There's zero lies told there.
But no, we get Death Riders versus Rated FTR Part 6 or something like that this weekend.
Yeah. And a great briefcase on China Shafir.
And the fact that Orange isn't there, that Darby's not there, right? You know, all these potential young suitors, you know, the ones that are not really in there, I think is hurting the storyline a little bit more than thought. Hanger.
It needs Hanger.
I feel like putting Jay White in this, like, Jay White's that kind of reluctant face, right? You know? He's not, like, they're trying to make him like full face by himself, and it doesn't work for me, right? I can't wait for the Guns to get back, and I really can't wait for the Guns and Juice to all be back, right? Because if they're still face-ish as the full Bang Bang Gang, I'm cool with it. But him like being buddy-buddy with every good guy that comes out to save his ass afterwards, I don't know. It just feels weird.
I think the other thing with Jay White in this story is Jay White is not an AEW guy. Like, he works for AEW. He is on their roster. But for the story Mox is telling, you need an AEW guy. And it's got to be Hanger. It's got to be Kenny Omega. Or, like I said last week, give me Brody King stepping up and be like, you want to get violent? Let's do it.
So, gentlemen, that's Dynamite. There's some more wrestling that we need to talk about. But before we go there, it's been a minute. And after that, talking about 40-plus-year-old men going for what is also being said, teaching the young people how to win. And they're ultimately going to lose. So there's kind of job, right? You know, but at the end of the day, I need more knowledge because this is just drowning me out. And I know a perfect person who might have a little bit of knowledge for us.
I just might. So I had put a pin in something earlier that AEW needs a third show. And we're going to pop that right out right now. AEW needs a very specific kind of third show.
What third show would that be?
They need an hour on either Saturday or Sunday morning. And this stash of knowledge is brought to you by WWF Superstars in the year of our Lord 1996, because I've been burning through a lot of those recently. That is my nostalgia wrestling. That was when I was one of the youths. I would get up every morning because I think Superstars moved from Saturday to Sunday after a while, but whenever it was on, because you got pro wrestling, you got a little bit of character, and most importantly, you got top of the line job guys. And this was the golden era of job guys. So for those of you that maybe are a little young or weren't watching at this time, this was a very interesting transition in pro wrestling. Historically, your job guys were just dudes with names. You had your Gary Sabas, He was a good one. Iron Mike Sharp, Barry Horowitz, who would actually survive the transition and go into what I'm about to talk about, which is job guys with gimmicks. The greatest
job guys with jobs.
You need gimmicky job guys that will beat your Gary Sabas and your local guys with just a name, but also get beaten 3 minutes by your actual talent. And I would love to see AEW put out a Saturday morning show, an hour long, where you get Hanger beating up on a Portuguese Man-O-War Aldo Montoya or a Salvatore Sincere of sorts in a good 4 to 5 minute match. You get your picture-in-picture promo during it with whoever they're fighting at the time. Just a nice little weekend. Here's a little bit of exhibition wrestling. We're going to catch you up on what's going on. But yeah, so 1996 is famous for the year that Kevin Nash and Scott Hall jumped over to WCW. Jeff Jarrett jumped over to WCW. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, jumped over to WCW. You had a bit of an exodus. WWE needed new talent, but there wasn't much to be had. So they called up Jim Cornette and said, hey, can you send up a handful of guys from Smoky Mountain that are just good hands in the ring? We'll give them some silly gimmicks and we'll fill out our TV. So I don't know how many of these y'all remember, but there were some great ones.
Let's go.
Notable, TL Hopper, the wrestling plumber, also known as Dirty White Boy in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. You had the Goon, a former hockey player who was too rough for hockey.
I remember the
so he became a wrestler.
Throw down in the WWF. The Goon, also known as Wild Bill Irwin, hell of a hand. There was I want to say it was one of the Bash at the Beaches or a Beach Blast, where he goes out, obviously not the Goon, when he's just Wild Bill Irwin, but he goes out there with Bulldog and has like a 12-minute banger to kick off the show. It's somewhere on the Peacock if you've never seen it. But Wild Bill Irwin as the Goon was great. The future Just Incredible as the Portuguese Man-O-War Aldo Montoya. They just put a white guy in a mask and we're like, we'll just call you Portuguese. It'll be fine. I think he might have some Portuguese in his family, but no one knew what a Portuguese Man-O-War was, but it was a masked guy. Let's go. Let's do it.
It sounded really good.
Sounds great.
It did. It was just a great name. And then you had Tom Brandi as Salvatore Sincere, the Italian guy who would say how much he loved everybody and how sincere he was when he wasn't because he was a heel. That was another great one. You also at the time had one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time, Tracy Smothers, there as Freddie Joe Floyd, which was fantastic. You had Barry Windham showing up as the Stalker, which is probably the worst gimmick of all time, but it was hilarious. They just put him in like Predator camouflage face paint and had him just staring behind the curtain during matches. It was fantastic. And then you had the Pug, Alex Porto, a global guy out of Dallas that had some amateur credentials and just jobbed all the time. And then the aforementioned Barry Horowitz, who went from just named jobber guy to his gimmick is just that he's Jewish. And he literally came out to Hava Nagila and pat himself on the back and then lost in 3 minutes. Yes. But among all these, I've been building up to the greatest 1996 jobber with a gimmick of all time. And that is who?
The Brooklyn Brawler, of course.
No, it's who.
The name was who.
That was literally his name, was who.
You don't remember that, Jamie? Dude's name was Who. Not the Who.
I do remember that now.
That's the copyright.
Okay. Wait, what? Who? Are we doing an Abbott Costello bit and I don't even know?
Who's on second?
It's Jim the Anvil Neidhart in a yellow mask and yellow trunks. And the gimmick only exists so Vince McMahon, Mr. Perfect, and Jim Ross can make Abbott and Costello jokes every single time he's out there for like 8 straight weeks. And it's the same jokes every time. It is one of the dumbest things you'll ever see in pro wrestling. And that's why it's at the top of the list of 1996 jobbers with gimmicks.
That's great. That shit's so great. But Really, the Brooklyn Brawler's not the. Oh, I love the Brooklyn Brawler.
Brawler wasn't showing up as much around then. Brawler was doing more jobbing in the earlier 90s.
See,
he showed up from time to time.
Yeah. See, there was a little bit of a different transition here. It's a little bit different than what you had built that you were going to get into, Austin. I'm glad it was because, Jamie and I have fond memories of the early '90s jobbers, right? Brooklyn Brawlers amongst one of them, Repo Man, right?
Leaping Lanny Profo, Macho Man's brother. Like, dude, come on now. SD Jones, come on now.
I mean, you had a bunch of ones. I love the ones that were like just blatant like jobs, right? If anybody come out that was a like blatant job, it was like
Dumpster Drosy.
Exactly, right? So, but yeah, the '96. That's oh my god.
There was an episode of Superstars I saw recently that was Duke the Dumpster Drosy versus TL Hopper, the trash man versus the plumber.
Iron Mike Sharp. You guys remember Iron Mike Sharp?
Oh yeah.
Love Iron Mike Sharp.
Dude. Then now forever, baby. Like that dude, yeah. Oh.
See, I was born like 20 years too late because I would have killed in the early 90s as an enhancement talent.
Yeah, you would have been.
You know who you also get as job guys at this time, although they're not really gimmicked, they just have their names? Matt and Jeff Hardy.
Yep.
That's a good point.
They were jobbers in the beginning.
They were 100% jobbers in '96.
There's a early '96 episode of Superstars where Razor Ramon gives Jeff Hardy the Razor's Edge like 6 times in a row because he gets mad because the 1-2-3 kid ran out.
You also, at some point in '96, you had fake Diesel and fake Razor.
Yes, you get fake Diesel and fake Razor. Fake Diesel, aka Kane, and fake Razor, aka he never really did much else, but he was fake Razor, some Canadian guy. That's even funnier going back and watching these old Superstars because you have it mentioned earlier in the summer that on commentary, Vince McMahon's like, some former WF superstars have gone over to another company. They are in no way affiliated with us because WCW tried to play that at first as like, these guys work for the other team. And then like 2 months later, you have Jim Ross just bring back Razor and Diesel, which is clearly just to take a shot at Kevin Nash and Scott Hall by recasting.
Yeah. It was a very interesting year because that was so '96 was, for those of you, we're going to go full nostalgia here. We're taking this and we're running with it, Jamie. That was '96 when the Monday Night Wars started, right? Nitro had all the stuff and it was growing. It was doing decently, this and that. It was whatever. They moved to Nitro. They had all stuff. They had the Mall America, but it wasn't until they started really getting like Lex Luger. For the first Nitro was a thing, but it never really hurt WWF, right? Not really. But when Hogan left and Hall and Nash, and that's when it was like, oh, right? But WWF is also at a time where they didn't respond for like the first at least 6 months or a year. They didn't respond very well at all until they had their own developmental talent show up, right? They didn't respond for shit. It was bad wrestling.
Do you guys want a little bit of trivia?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Did you know Scott Hall has never competed in the Royal Rumble?
I did know that.
But Razor Ramon has.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Fake Razor's in there. Scott Hall proper as Razor Ramon was always in title matches at the Rumble.
That's a good point. Yeah. He always had IC matches.
He's never participated in the Royal Rumble, but Razor Ramon has. I found that to be incredibly interesting. I just learned it like last week. I'm like,
that's an amazing piece of trivia.
Did you know?
Wow.
You know what I missed that they were doing for a while there? They would use the Royal Rumble as an opportunity to test somebody out in a title match, like for the world title.
Yeah.
Like I think you got like Bob Holly and Brock Lesnar at one. You got Razor Ramon versus Bret Hart for the WWF title. Like, it was a good place because you were either definitely putting on the guy that was carrying it to Mania, or the guy that was carrying it to Mania already had it. So it was the perfect spot to like, let's throw someone else out there with the champ and see if we can make him look like a main eventer. And I feel like we need more of that.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to Maine. That's fantastic stats and knowledge this week here. Let's keep talking about the Rumble because that is coming up this weekend.
Yeah, I think it's perfect timing to talk about the Rumble because my beautiful belt will be on the line as we are officially in the road to WrestleMania. It starts this weekend. And this is one of the few WWE events that we do every year. We do the Big Four, Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. Even though Survivor Series has lost its luster, it's still a Big Four.
War Games!
But, gentlemen,
sorry,
there's only 4 official matches, and it's starting at 5 p.m. Central.
That part sucks.
Ooh, that's rough.
I work till 6, so yeah.
The 4 matches I get because 2 of them are at least an hour long.
Absolutely.
Minimum.
One is a ladder match, and one is 2 out of 3 falls. Like, this might be the most wrestling dense pay-per-view they ever put on.
I mean, that's fair because the card, gentlemen, just in case you didn't know, the 30-man Royal Rumble, the 30-woman Royal Rumble. Then you have Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the championship, the battle for the Winged Eagle. And then you have DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns, and a 2 out of 3 fall match. That is your card. And first off, DIY is doing some excellent work right now, and I'm a big fan of what they're doing as heels. Excellent. I find Cody boring, so of course I want Kevin Owens. Gentlemen.
And he won't.
So as largely down as I've been on WWE for quite some time, I'm looking forward to the Rumble more than I've looked forward to any WWE show in recent memory. I think this card looks dope. Give me DIY Motor City Machine Guns, 2 out of 3 falls. Give me that any day of the week. KO and Cody in a ladder match, like, that's fun, and at least you're not going to get some like just weird dumb finish. It's a ladder match. It's Kevin Owens a ladder match. What's not to like? The men's Rumble, I feel like the men's Rumble for the first time in years seems pretty wide open. I know where I'm leaning on that, but like it's real top heavy with talent.
Yeah.
The women's Rumble seems all but determined, but maybe they'll surprise us. So I'm actually looking forward to the Rumble on Saturday.
I'm looking forward to the Rumble, and everybody knows the answer that I'm going to spit out right here, right? But I'm looking forward to the Rumble simply because of the possibility of how many people from TNA are going to show up, right? We know Jordynne Grace doesn't count anymore. She's in WWE, right?
Yeah, she's already signed a multi-year deal.
She's 100%. That was coming in as it is. But with all their agreements they have going on, and they've had people who have moonlit over on back and forth, right? Joe Hendry, right? A lot of NXT and so on and so forth, right? I'm interested to see. I think that we were talking about this. I think that you're going to see it more on the women's side than the men's. To your point, though, is it just a coronation for Charlotte? I mean, I don't know.
I don't think she's winning it. I know the old pervert's not there anymore, but it's still Charlotte in a Royal Rumble. I'm saying this. Charlotte's not winning it. She's got to win the Elimination Chamber. Because she's never won the Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
Big time. And she's all about making history and doing all things. She has to have everything. She's the fucking Thanos of women's wrestling.
If they want to do the right thing and strap a rocket to Jordynne Grace and let her win the Rumble in her first. Well, it's not her first time in it either, too. So
that's what I said last week. Like, give us an unknown. Give us Jordynne Grace winning and Jordynne Grace and Rhea Ripley at Mania. I still think it's going to be Charlotte, though. Mostly because this is her return match from being out with an injury for a long time. I don't think she's hitting the ground running and going right into an Elimination Chamber. I think she's going to win the Rumble. It'll be like when Cena came back early from injury in 2008, won the Rumble and you didn't actually see him wrestle again until Mania. We might get some matches between now and then, here and there, but I think they're going to slow walk Charlotte to WrestleMania, and she's just going to win the Rumble to get there.
Sounds
she is heavily favored betting wise. She is heavily favored betting wise. She's negative 200, and then plus 175 is Bianca, and then my pick plus 325. Obviously, I'm gonna have some time to think about this, but Io is my other. I would love
Io's
to see.
A good choice.
I'd love to see her and Rhea.
But I think Io's a good choice. I think that don't be surprised if Liv wins it. Right? Is that predictable? And they're running it back, maybe. But
there's no way she's winning. If she's not, she's plus 1,600, dude.
I understand that, but
that's better odds. She's not even signed with the company right now.
See, that's why I think Charlotte's winning, because if you're going to fill in your other WrestleMania women's match with the Elimination Chamber, you've got a lot of people in Rhea Ripley's orbit right now that it would make sense to put in like a 6-way match. Like you could have Nia Jax, you could have Liv Morgan, you could have Raquel, you could have Io. Like you've got enough people that it would make sense for all of them to be in there. Throwing Charlotte in there with a bunch of other people she hasn't interacted with in a year, like, doesn't seem the same. And then you end up in the same position where, well, okay, now you know Charlotte's going to win the Elimination Chamber. So you might as well just have her win the room.
I just find it, and I just find it so hard to not think it's going to be Charlotte. It's just,
I think that's what they want you to think.
And I hope that's the swerve. I hope they do that.
Yeah,
I'm with Austin. I want a surprise. I want somebody getting elevated that you wouldn't normally see.
I do think if Charlotte wins, you have an interesting story of whose title does she go after.
Yeah,
because Charlotte and Rhea at Mania again would make a lot of sense. Charlotte going after Tiffany Stratton would also make a lot of sense.
The word is they're setting up Charlotte and Tiffy, and
yeah,
I think Charlotte Tiffy all 100%.
That seems the most obvious.
That match makes so much sense to me.
It's also the one belt that she hasn't held technically.
She's not gonna win. If they make Tiffy a transitional champ, I'll be pissed.
This is Charlotte Flair we're talking about here, Jamie.
I don't care.
I know you don't care.
I think Tiffany's losing at Mania.
I think so too.
I don't think it's a transitional champ though. I think it's a first shot at the title.
Yeah.
Like there's clear transitional champions where they're never coming back here again. Unfortunately, Kofi Kingston, which you could tell. I think with Tiffany, they know they've got her for the long term. She doesn't need a long first title reign to be established. Because you could have her lose it at Mania and then late next year turn face and you tell the story of Tiffany going back to Mania to become champion again. Like, you've got longer term stories you can tell there.
There's legs to run with Tiffy, honestly. A lot more than I gave her credit for initially. I'll admit. I didn't think she was anything more. I was like, I don't know about this one here, but no, I think you've got long-term legs with her. But you've also got Charlotte Flair, which you know what they're going to. It's female John Cena, Roman Reigns. They're going to give her the belt. They're going to give her the belt.
Don't do like if they go forward with Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton at Mania, I would like to see Rhea and Bianca Belair at Mania. I think they could tear it down.
Well, I'm thinking Bianca and Naomi might be going at it, or Bianca and Jade and Naomi in the three-way.
Yeah, they're going some direction. I would rather just see Bianca in the title match with Rhea at Mania.
I don't know. I'd really like to see Io going against Rhea. That makes my heart happy.
I think Io's a good call. As much as I want to see Jordan Grace, I don't think they're going to pull that trigger this soon. But I think that would be interesting.
What about Becky? Becky and Rhea run it back.
Please no.
I know, but they're probably going to.
Yeah, like I could see Becky winning the Elimination Chamber, but like, who? I don't want to say who's that interested in Becky Lynch, Because like the WWE fans will pop because they're just conditioned. Like there's someone we know and used to like, they're back. But ever since her initial run as the man, like they didn't really know what to do with Becky Lynch.
Yeah. Well, the problem is like Jamie and I were there the night when she bled, right, on the invasion angle. We were literally 3 feet from her.
Yeah.
Okay. And that run was one of the best. You talk about WWE and organic stuff, right? That was one of the best things ever, right? And the whole moniker of this whole man thing was a dig at Charlotte Flair from day one, right? Because it was basically making fun of her family, right? Which is why she called herself the man, because, to be the man, you got to beat the man, right?
Ooh.
And then, of course, it fizzled out in the worst way at the Mania, main event, the way they did that. And then they just kind of ran with it continuously, and then and they altered her, right? And it became a whole thing, and to the point where it's just like, we're over Becky. So
I honestly think the only real interesting thing they could do at Mania with Becky is not have Charlotte in a title match at all and get us to Charlotte and Becky at Mania.
I'd love that.
I'd be in
that.
I'll
take. That I'll take any day of the week. Well, we will let you guys know next week because, like I said, Jamie is putting that beautiful shiny belt back up on the line. One of us is taking it. It's not going to be Austin because Austin predicted he's going to win at Revolution to take that belt. So who knows?
If I do happen to win it this weekend, I'm putting it in a briefcase until Revolution.
You need to talk to Carlos at work tomorrow, Jamie, see if he wants to get in because he did win our fantasy football league, and we said we would give the winner a shot at the belt. So
he did. But it doesn't matter.
Oh, Jesus.
It doesn't matter. When it comes to pay-per-view picks, when I wake up those mornings, I piss excellence, guys. No one can touch
you can't even pronounce excellence.
Excellence.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's just go down a little stroll down history. And my historic run last year of 4 consecutive pay-per-views started at the Royal Rumble. 4. I survived 2 nights of WrestleMania, Revolution, and Double or Nothing. Survived them all.
There's an asterisk on WrestleMania because I was sick. And JJ should have realized I wasn't trying to pick the same team to win both tag titles in that match.
Fair is fair, man. I'm sorry. I want nothing more than for you to beat or anybody to beat Jamie, but got to call it right down the middle. Right down the middle.
And it's okay. It's okay that you want that. You want that over me because you can't actually get this thing from me anymore. I've defended it now. What, for 2? This will be my 3rd consecutive. I'm trying to beat my record. Gentlemen, because there's no way in hell this thing's getting away from me. And then on next week's show, you're going to see it propped up right here once again for everybody to see how amazing I am at picking people.
The disdain coming from the other 2 windows is palpable. But
no, you get one more show. You get this one, Revolution. It's coming with me.
You did call your shot. You did call your shot.
He did call your shot. Maybe I could be your transitional championship.
I did my version of the WrestleMania sign point. We are almost in sign pointing season.
It's almost sign pointing season, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to come back next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. See where that belt is. Does Jamie's pontification work? Does his prediction, does his grandiose, bandwagon thing show up here? Does our very own John Cena continue over there? On the top left corner of your screen. We shall find out next week. We're also got the final kind of push towards Grand Slam and hopefully the sharp turn to start building something for Revolution because we're about a month away. Let's get something on the books, right? But no, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you guys giving us some of your time. If this is your first time here, again, welcome. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you join us again next week. Hit the like button down below to give us a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified when we go live. As the weather warms up, there is going to be more live wrestling shows. We are going to do some pre-shows, so keep an eye out for that in the next few months here. But thank you once again. We love you guys. Thank you for coming in with us. Jamie, take us home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down with Total Spotfest, I got 2 words for you. Mandela effect.
I knew it. I knew what you were going for.
That's classic. That's a good one. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Later.